Hi guys, in this video we're going to be learning about D and L stereochemistry. If you guys have already learned about R and S system, D and L system is actually much easier than that. And we're first going to start with simple sugars, and then we're going to talk about D and L stereochemistry in amino acids too. So let's first start with glucose. So in Fischer projection, a glucose looks something like this. So we have a aldehyde at the end and alcohol, and definition of carbohydrate or sugar is it's polyhydroxylated aldehyde or ketone. So we have a lot of hydroxyls and we need to have at least one aldehyde or ketone. So this is glucose, glucose in Fischer projection, and to classify if it is D and L, what we need to do is the most oxidized carbon, or in this case the aldehyde carbon, has to be on the top, and then our last chiral center in this molecule is this carbon, and if this OH is to the right, this should be a D compound. If this OH was to the left, this should be a L compound. It's as simple as that. So this would be a D glucose. Right now, for L glucose, you might think that if this OH goes to this side, this would be a L glucose, but you'd be partly right and partly wrong. The reason you'd be right is, yes, it would be a L compound if this OH is to this side, but this should not be a glucose anymore. L glucose is a mirror image of D glucose, and I'm going to draw it right now. This will be our L glucose, and this is a L compound because this OH is to the side. And you can always think that if it is a D galactose and L galactose, they have to be mirror images of each other. D mannose, L mannose, and all other sugars, they have to be mirror images of each other. So this should be our L glucose. Now we're going to learn how to classify if something is D and L in cyclic compounds, because you can represent this as a ring form too, as this OH would attack the carbon in this CHO, it forms a hemiacetal. And let's see how to classify if something is D or L in that compound. So let me draw glucose first in the ring form. And I just drew a structure of glucose in a ring form, and just by looking at it, the way we can classify it as D or L is to look at this CH2OH. And if this CH2OH is on the top, this should be a D glucose. If the CH2OH was on the bottom, this should be a L glucose. So for all other ring structure compound, if this CH2OH you find it to the top, it's going to be a D. If it's on the bottom, it's going to be L. So this is our D glucose. And there's another form of naming glucose. This is an anomeric carbon. The meaning of anomeric carbon is when in this glucose, when this O attacks to this C, this is the aldehyde carbon and it makes a alcohol, and this alcohol in this structure could have gone to the top or bottom, and this aldehyde carbon in this Fischer projection, we call it an anomeric carbon. And based on this, if OH goes to the top or bottom, we classify it as alpha or beta, and we call it alpha sugar if the direction of the CH2OH and the OH is opposite. So for example, if this OH was to the bottom, then this CH2OH and the OH are in like opposite orientation, so we have called it alpha. But in this case, the CH2OH is on the top and the OH is on the top too, so we call it a beta. So this is our beta D glucose. Now let's briefly talk about amino acids too. It's pretty fairly simple concept again. So in amino acid, you guys probably know the basic structure of amino acid. You have a carbon and a side chain comes out of it, and from here goes COO minus and NH3 plus, and this has H. So it's called amino acid because it has amino group and a carboxyl acid. And to classify amino acid as D or L, we first need to draw a Fischer projection in which the COO group needs to be on the top, and then we have the middle C up here, and then we have the R group of the carbon right here, and have NH3 plus and H. And if this NH3 group is to our right, we call it a D amino acid, and if this NH3 is on the left, we call it L amino acid, and that's it. So on the Fischer projection, you need to have the carboxyl group on the top, R on the bottom. If the amino group is to the right, you call it a D amino acid. If it's to the left, you call it L amino acid. In this case, it's our D amino acid. Hope you guys understood what we talked about. Thank you for watching my videos. Bye.